I wanted to come to you to unpack something or process something that I'm learning. I won't be out here long because it's kind of warm, but I really wanted to just unpack this. And again, as I try to do as often as possible, model the behavior that um, model the behavior that leads to a more inclusive, safe community for all. So, if you haven't been following, if you don't know, on Twitter, I did what I've been doing for over a year at the request of trans and non binary individuals in the community. I have been requesting, first of all, it's about pronouns. So I put my pronouns in all my bios across all social media platforms, as well as um, I'm just trying to get the sun, as well as I have added my pronouns to my email signature. And I do this regularly where I remind people in the community, if you have the privilege to do so, um, then do that. And so the reason why I have done that is because, again, as I said, um, I've had numerous conversations. I've seen several talks from trans and non-binary people saying that when cis people add their pronouns to their, bios or whatever, it helps to normalize it. It takes the pressure off trans people to always have to um, correct people or have to give pronouns. It becomes something that by default people start looking for. And so that's the impetus behind it. So I did it today, just the regular reminder that I do, and a trans individual, and I'm going to say they because I looked at their Twitter profile and I don't see any other pronouns there, so I'm just going to use they. They called me out and said that that was performative. They don't like it. It doesn't benefit the community. Cis people should not be doing this work or doing or adding pronouns. And I can admit, and the tone of the message was antagonistic. Okay, and I can admit it was a gut punch because I don't want to do anything that hurts anybody. I don't want to further marginalize the already marginalized and vulnerable. So I felt, I got out. Okay, it was a gut punch. Then you move on. So I decided instead of just, moving on, I wanted to have a conversation. I wanted to ask and see what trans and non binary individuals thought about um, the comments. And they're all over the place, as is everything else, because trans people, like black women, are not a monolith. And so I love the dialogue that I'm seeing happening there. And yet I want to, and I was gonna do a quote retweet, and I will still do that because I want to save that thread so that people can go back and see it. Um, and Yeah, and so I get it. It probably is often performative. Um, and although that's not my intention, it doesn't matter if an individual's impact from that was harm. So it's like, how do you do this? How do you create a community when so many, because inclusion and diversity is the goal, but how do you do that with so many opinions, so many lived experiences, so many different things? And this is why I say you're gonna fuck it up. And even though in this situation, I really don't think I fucked this up, it because this was it was a opportunity for me to learn. It's an opportunity for me to hear. Um, and I don't want to discount those individuals who tell me that this is important to them. And so you kind of have this balancing act. But as a black woman, I live in the grays. Remember, I don't live in very few binaries for me. Um, and so, one of the things that I wish I had, which I don't have because I don't have many black people in the community, since black people are not my target audience, and someone thankfully did share um, a thread from, and I retweeted it. I retweeted it from a black trans person because that's who, to me, everybody who was responding was either white or white presenting, and they're, to me, they aren't the most vulnerable in the trans community. So I really would like to know how black and brown, particularly black women trans people who are being slaughtered, are feel about pronouns. But without that, I've decided that I will not be removing my pronouns from my bios, because that's my commitment to the people who told me it's important. What I will not do anymore, though, is have a community-wide statement saying, asking people to do that. I won't. I will no longer be doing that. And I also want to address this ally. I don't consider myself an ally of the trans people. I don't like allies. I don't like how that is, because it is mostly performative. I am a supporter. I am an amplifier of trans voices and trans individuals. I don't need a title. I do the work. Um, and when I and when I um, and when there's a potential to be harmed, I step back, assess it, and make better choices. So I hope this is the best choice I can make for myself. Everybody's not going to agree with that. I don't know if this person who called me out even going to agree with that, and I'm okay with that, because I have to live with the consequences of my behavior, and I am. Thank you for amplifying Black voices. Yes, and I'm always going to amplify Black voices. To me, that is the default. I'm never going to throw Black people under the bus. I'm always gonna amplify us first and foremost. I mean, white folks can fend for themselves. Um, but yes, so this is what I'm gonna do moving forward, and you're gonna make decisions based on what you believe. So again, I will not be removing my pronouns from my bios, but I will no longer be making public requests for other people to do so. So I hope I have been able to demonstrate in just these brief moments how we do this, how we go forward, how we respect people's individuality as we try to build a community of individuals, of individuals that we must prioritize the most vulnerable. So have a wonderful day. Goodbye.